That's all what I'm about to tell you right here in this message. Listen closely, because I got a whole lot to say, and I'm going to say it quick. Here we go. Story of the walls of Jericho, just like we watched there. And I want to compare this city falling to your and my calloused heart. Picture your heart as a city. We've been talking a lot the last couple months about a city, haven't we? We've talked about a mountain. We've talked about a city. And now I want to wrap all that together and remember that city's your heart, each and every one of you and mine. Before Christ, even after getting Christ, you got a calloused heart from the world. Think about that heart like it's two big old walls around your heart. Two walls. Go ahead and read Joshua, what Joshua had to tell us about this. Now Jericho was shut up inside and outside because of the people of Israel. None went out and none came in. There was a whole lot of Israelites surrounding the city of Jerusalem, or the city of Jericho. And the people in Jericho, they said, we don't want to go out there, and we don't want all them soldiers to come in here. So they shut up all the people in the city of Jericho. And the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have given Jericho into your hand, with its king and mighty men of valor. You shall march around that city, all the men of war, going around the city once. Thus shall you do for 6 days. 7 priests shall bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark. On the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow the trumpets. And when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, when you hear the sound of the trumpet, then all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city will fall down flat, and the people shall go up, everyone, straight before him into the city. I tried to write my own description of Jericho. I know a whole lot about Jericho, but I found this Bryant Wood wrote an article, and I'm just going to read it because he described it perfectly. What the city looked like before the Israelites conquered it. What Jericho, how it was made. This article's archaeology confirms they really did come a tumbling down. Archaeology confirmed it. They dug it up and they realized, hey, the Bible's right. Go figure. It's always confirmed to be right. And I'll go ahead and read that article. The mound, or tell, of Jericho was surrounded by a great earthen rampart, an embankment with a stone retaining wall at its base. The retaining wall was some 4 to 5 meters, 12 to 15 feet high. On top of that was a mud brick wall, 2 meters, 6 feet thick, and about 6 to 8 meters, 20 to 26 feet high. At the crest of the embankment was a similar mud brick wall whose base was roughly 14 meters, 46 feet, above the ground level outside the retaining wall. This is what all the Israelites were looking up at that wall as they were marching around. This was what loomed high above the Israelites as they marched around the city each day for 7 days, a 46-foot high embankment and wall. Humanly speaking, it was impossible for the Israelites to penetrate the impregnable bastion of Jericho. Within the upper wall was an area of approximately 6 acres, while the total area of the upper city and fortification system was 50% larger, or about 9 acres. Based on the archaeologist's rule of thumb of 200 persons per acre, the population of the upper city would have been around 1,200 people. So do you picture that so far? It's a big city on a mound, and there's a city with one big wall around it, a whole bunch of people living. Then you go out a little bit, and then there's a whole nother wall with a big embankment. Big city, fortified real good. However, from excavations carried out by a German team in the first decade of this century, we know that people were also living on the embankment between the upper and lower city walls. In addition, those Canaanites lived in surrounding villages, would have fled to Jericho for safety. Thus, we can assume that there were several thousand people inside the walls when the Israelites came against the city. Y'all get the picture. You know what the city looked like, the 2 walls. Number one, it had a large embankment and two thick, tall walls surrounding the city. Remember, this ain't about this city, Jericho, right now. This is about our hearts. So that city in you, that city in your heart, is a fortified city. I'm not speaking like this is a good thing before Christ. It's a strong city, hard to penetrate, hard to accept Christ. But when you accepted Christ, that first wall came down. The first wall came down, and Jesus came into your heart. But the second wall is what I'm talking about today. The second wall is how you're going to get that wall down to get filled with the Holy Spirit. The first wall comes down, and you say, God, it's good, everything's great, I trust in Jesus. And you think that's the end of it. Oh, Lord God, Holy Spirit's got a whole lot left for you to do in your life. But if you got that second wall up around that little part about in your heart that you keep all your worldly things in, all the things you're clinging on in the flesh before Christ, they're still in there, and you got that wall real high, and you say, Jesus, God, you can go around anywhere in my life, anywhere in my heart, but this spot in that heart, that's my spot. Jesus, you stay out of that spot. God, you stay out of that spot. Holy Spirit, don't do your work in that spot. I got a wall built so high from all the hurt where people hurt me. All the lies I told, I got to tell more lies to cover up them lies. That's my wall. And don't you dare touch that place, Jesus. All the gossip I've told, I got to remember who I told what. I got to remember who I told that, so I make sure not to tell this person what that person don't know. I got to make sure I tell this person, no, I didn't say that. I love you, man. I would never say that. Got to make sure I keep between them two people so they don't talk. That's that wall, that second wall you got to let go of. You got to prepare yourself for a battle. Like Deanna said, you got a battle going on in this mind. And the battle I'm here to focus on today is the battle against that second wall you're refusing to let go of. The battle against that fortified wall you built so strong and so tall and so wide, you don't want Jesus in there. And you sure as heck don't want no preacher telling you about what's in there. How many of us want to go to the dentist to fix our teeth? How many of us want to go to the doctor to fix a broken bone? But you never go to the physician, Jesus, to fix what's in that fortified city. Come to the heart of God today. Let him come to you. Take down that second wall. Allow him to fully encompass that heart. But as long as we allow the fortification of that inner wall, our spirit will never be filled with God's Spirit. He'll be there somewhere in you, but you got to let him fill it all up. That's what he desires in your life. The first wall was lower than the other one. It's easier to come to Christ, but it's real hard to get filled by that same Spirit that raised him from the grave. Why wouldn't you want filled by the Spirit that raised the dead man from the grave? It's easy to say in here that we want it. It's out there when it's tough. When you get with the friends that want you to be like the world. Been friends a long time. Got to keep that inner wall built up for those friends that don't accept my Christianity. No. Shatter that wall. That second wall is what God's Spirit is most concerned with in your life. Let God completely transform you to the man he needs you to be, the woman he needs you to be. That second wall must come a tumbling down to really get filled